for the kirtan. So what is happening to Prabhupada's movement? We're having class with no mridanga player, 1 kilometer from the temple. This is management? Anyway, it's going on the internet. What is happening? Oh, you're alive. You can do things, can you? Very good. Anyway, we'll still get the mercy of Radharani for listening to the Gita. Madanga, you play. This is Sankirtan movement. If you join the army, they teach you how to shoot a gun, right? If you join Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement, they should teach you how to play mridanga and kartala and give class, right? What's the use of a soldier that can't shoot a gun? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivaradhari Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Vishnupad, Paramahansa Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad, His Divine Grace, Sri Lesa Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Vishnupad, Paramahansa Bhagavad-Gita, Srimad, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gokishore Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai. Srila Thakur Bhakti Vinod ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Sadhu Sangha ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Go Premananda. Hari Hari Bo. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All together, please. Om Jnana Timarandasya Ganandana Salakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yukta-ātmā Kamalang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Prijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamsha He Krishna Karana Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapcha Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhana Sudadevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakaupatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita as it is. Translation and commentary, His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Can you see the Sanskrit? You can? So, text 21 of chapter 5, chapter entitled Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness. Okay. Bāhya-sparśeṣv asakta-ātmā vindaty ātmani yat sukham brahma-yoga-yuktātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute bāhya-sparśeṣv asakta-ātmā vindati ātmani yat sukham sa brahma-yoga-yuktātmā yukta-ātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute bāhya-sparśeṣv asakta-ātmā vindaty ātmani yat sukham sa brahma-yoga-yuktātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute. Okay, go ahead.
bāhya-sparśeṣv asakta-ātmā
asakta vindaty ātmani yat sukham sa brahma-yoga-yuktātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute. Asakta-ātmā vindaty ātmani yat sukham sa brahma-yoga-yuktātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute. Okay, thank you very much. So now, word for word, please repeat. Bāhya-sparśeṣu, in external sense pleasure. Asakta-ātmā, one who is not attached. Vindaty, enjoys. Ātmani, in the self. Yat, that which. Sukham, happiness. Saha, he. Brahma-yoga, by concentration in Brahman. Yukta-ātmā, self-connected. Sukham, happiness. Akṣayam, unlimited. Aśnute, enjoys. Translation Śrī Prabhupada. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. Please repeat. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So, purport Srila Prabhupada, Śrī Yāmunācārya, a great devotee in Krishna consciousness, said, Yad avadi mama cetasa Krishna parāravinde nava nava rasa dhamatmani udatam ratam ashit tad avyadhi bhata nari sangame smarayamane bhavati mukha vikara sishushtu nishti vadanam cha. Translation. Since I have been engaged in the transcendental loving service of Krishna, realizing ever new pleasure in Him, whenever I think of sex pleasure, I spit at the thought, and my lips curl with distaste. A person in... This is the monkeys. This is another advantage of giving class here. A person in Brahma-yoga or Krishna consciousness is so absorbed in the loving service of the Lord that he loses his taste for material sense pleasure altogether. The highest pleasure in terms of matter is sex pleasure. The whole world is moving under its spell, and a materialist cannot work at all without this motivation. But a person engaged in Krishna consciousness can work with great vigor without sex pleasure, which he avoids. That is the test in spiritual realization. Spiritual realization and sex pleasure go ill together. A Krishna conscious person is not attracted to any kind of sense pleasure due to his being a liberated soul. Mukam karochi bācālam pangam laitegirim yad kripatamaham vande Śrī Gurundinatarinam. Bāhya-sparśeṣv asakta-ātmā vindaty ātmani yat sukham brahma-yoga-yuktātmā sukham akṣayam aśnute. Such a liberated person is not attracted to material sense pleasure, but is always in trance, enjoying the pleasure within. In this way, the self-realized person enjoys unlimited happiness, for he concentrates on the Supreme. So, this is a very good book, sloka. We all want happiness, but here is the method of unlimited happiness. In the material world, people are getting a little pleasure. If they don't get pleasure, why will they work so hard in a factory to bring up the children, look after the wife, do their duties in society? But this pleasure is compared to a drop of water in the desert. An animal runs here and there looking for an oasis because he wants unlimited water. But in the meantime, he's licking up drops of water from the cactus, and the cactus is stabbing his tongue. So this is material life. We are pleasure-seeking, Anandamoy-Vyasat. Krishna is Anandamoy-Vyasat. He's expanding his pleasure through the creation. He is not a static, he is an ecstatic person. So he wants to unlimitedly increase happiness. So that is Brahma-yoga. It's interesting, isn't it? We haven't come across that, Brahma-yoga. And Prabhupada translates it as Krishna consciousness. Is it? Well, in the original Gita it was there. Brahma-yoga. In the original, in Prabhupada's translation, it was Krishna consciousness. So, because Krishna is the Brahman. There is Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. So Brahman, there's very paltry pleasure. It is just liberation into the effulgence. Paramatma, the yogis meditate on Paramatma, and they wish to gain kaivalya, a union with the supersoul, and gain mystic powers and so on. But the bhakta, he concentrates on Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the source of all pleasure. So that is unlimited pleasure. As we were discussing last week, Krishna is unlimited. He is Ananta. So his pleasure is unlimited, but we are trying to enjoy the material energy and we are suffering because we want unlimited happiness, but we're getting the paltry pleasure of the material world. That is by nature ephemeral, transitory. It is not real. It is illusory, not in the sense that it doesn't exist, but it is illusory in the sense that it is temporary. Everything in the material world is temporary, but we want eternal happiness. So you're all familiar with this idea, but here is the solution. Now we saw it at the beginning of the Gita. Krishna was telling Arjuna, hey, you're in a confused state. Arjuna was miserable. Then second chapter, Arjuna was educated in Sankhya. You're not the body, you're the soul. The nature of the soul is this. Third chapter, Karma Yoga, Krishna taught Arjuna that you must do your duty, Arjuna. Don't think that because I'm giving you knowledge that therefore you should become renounced and just sit idly. No, you should do your duty. That is a combination of knowledge and bhakti. Very necessary for the neophyte. So then in fourth chapter, Krishna made Arjuna even more strong by giving transcendental knowledge. So transcendental knowledge, the effect of transcendental knowledge is to liberate the soul, bring him to the mode of goodness. What is that verse? Nasta prayeshu abhadreshu. If you hear the Bhagavatam, the knowledge of the Bhagavatam, you become liberated. Passion and ignorance goes down. You come to the mode of goodness, and then you can do brahma-yoga, Krishna consciousness. You can practice bhakti. If you're too much clouded by passion and ignorance, your consciousness, then you'll be distressed and in anxiety. So therefore, the yogi, he cultivates the mode of goodness in all his actions, speaking, eating, so on and so forth. Because from the mode of goodness, he can practice brahma-yoga. And then you get unlimited happiness. Now just think about that. We're not talking about, Krishna doesn't say happiness. You will be happy, Arjuna. He tells Arjuna, you will get unlimited happiness. So that word might shoot by us, unlimited happiness. But wow, just think, unlimited happiness. We're not talking about, Saturday night going to play billiards or going to a movie. We're talking unlimited happiness. We're not talking about the cricket team beat Pakistan. We're talking about unlimited happiness. So let's fix that in our mind, that Krishna is the source of unlimited pleasure, unlimited beauty, unlimited renunciation, unlimited opulence. How to become connected? Through Brahma-yoga, Krishna consciousness, by being devoted to Bhagavan. But in the material world, people are chasing the material illusory pleasure, and in the spiritual world, people are siddha. They're situated in unlimited happiness. So when we read the Bhagavatam, the Leela of Krishna, or anywhere we read the Leela of Krishna, we should understand these people, these devotees, these souls, they are experiencing these pastimes in unlimited happiness. Let that be an inspiration to us. We're stuck in this body, getting older, so on and so forth, full of anxiety about the material world. So we can hardly conceive of unlimited pastimes, unlimited life, unlimited happiness. But that's what we must practice so that we become inspired in our sadhana. So there's three types of people. There are those that are liberated, they're enjoying unlimited happiness on the pure transcendental platform. There are the materialists, they're getting their paltry sense pleasure on the material world. And then there is the sadhaka, who's trying to go from the material side to the spiritual side. So it's difficult, because he has to perform tapasya, 4 regulative principles, chanting. He has to develop good character. He has to be constant in his application. It's not a half-time thing. Brahma-yoga means all the time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 30 days in a month, 12 months in a year, and so on and so forth. Brahma-yoga, that's that verse in the Brahma Samhita, right? Pramanas tad acharas tad abhyasa nirantaram, right? The highest devotion is attained by slow degrees, by the method of constant endeavor, constant, for self-realization. With the method of pramana, you must learn siddhanta from pramana, amnaya, from the Vedas, from the acharya, from guru. You should learn siddhanta. And then sadachar, you should develop saintly personality. You should give up sinful activity, rumor-mongering, nastiness, envy, all these lower modes, you should give that up. And then nirantaram, you should be steady at it. Just like if you want to learn a musical instrument, you should practice steadily, steadily, steadily. And then you can attain Brahma-yoga. So, let us be inspired in that way. And why the self-realized soul? It's mentioned here, right? And previously, Krishna has given description of the self-realized soul. I'll just give the previous verse. A person who neither rejoices upon achieving something pleasant, nor laments upon obtaining something unpleasant, who is self-intelligent, who is unbewildered, and who knows the science of God, pramana, is already situated in transcendence. So, that is something that Krishna has been doing in the previous chapter, that you should be dheras tatra, you should be dhira. The material way, what is that? Yehi samsparshaya bhoga. The material world, there's winter, there's summer, there's hot, there's cold, there's friends, there's enemy, there's fame, there's infamy, there's all these dualities that we're experiencing relative to ourselves. But Krishna says, become dhira. Don't become drawn into the material world by reacting to the material energy and the material dualities. You become steady. So now he's developed that in the second chapter, third chapter, we've talked about it, fourth chapter. Now he's becoming very explicit. He's developing it further, Krishna. And he's saying, this is how you become dhira. This is how you become balanced, by having your by being proactive, not sitting there idly in an impersonal trance thinking, I'm not reacting, I'm not reacting. No, the consciousness is already flowing like the river Ganga flows to the sea. It is flowing towards Krishna. Why? Because of the natural bhakti, nitya siddha Krishna prem sadhakabana. That we already we have devotion, but it has to be awakened and developed by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then the Swarup will manifest. And when the Swarup is manifest, then we will be able to actually experience unlimited happiness. So, many times, what is that swoop, that spiritual swoop? Jivara swarupoi nityara Krishna das. So the swarup is naturally, we are naturally the servants of Krishna in ecstatic love. So, that is, we've often quoted this, so today I brought the book, and we can look at the purport. Nirod swa nushayam ātmani saha shakti bhi. Now here is the definition of mukti. Muktir hitavan yata rupam swa rupena bhavastiti. The merging of the living entity along with his conditioned living tendency with the mystic lying down of Mahavishnu is called the winding up of the cosmic manifestation. So that's the first two lines. Krishna is explaining to that what is nirod, the word here, nirod. Nirod means the winding up. These, like I say, this material world, it is temporary. Everything, this house, this building, everything, the land, material energy will be wound up. That is called nirodha. So at that time, the conditioned living entities, they go with into the body of Mahavishnu, within the causal ocean. That is the first two lines of the sloka. But then the next one is the fortunate description souls, which I all hope that we will all become. Muktir hitavan yata rupena, swarup, one's own spiritual form. And then liberation is the permanent situation, eternal, of the form of the living entity, of the form, swarup. That means his spiritual form has come out. Just like inside a tulsi seed, there is a tulsi tree. Inside an ashwatthama tree seed, there is an ashwatthama tree. Every seed has its tree. So every spirit soul has its own spiritual form. And through bhakti sadhana, the grace of Guru and Krishna, then that Swarup develops. That is Swarup. That is Swarup Siddhi. And in that spiritual form, in one's relationship to Krishna, one enjoys unlimited happiness. So we should know this pramana, we should know this very clearly, that I'm not going to go to the spiritual world in this material body, but my spiritual form. So, and that is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable, gross and subtle material bodies. So that is called Vastu Siddhi. Swarup Siddhi means I have developed my relationship with Krishna. I'm conscious. My bhava is there. I am the servant of Krishna. Gopi Bhata Kamalayo Dasa Dasa Anadasa. I'm in that state of realization. But I may still be within my material mind and body. But Vastu Siddhi means this, as it says here, when the gross and subtle bodies are completely gone from the soul, then because we don't take the gross and subtle body into the spiritual world, we go there in our Swarup. And in our Swarup, we enjoy that unlimited happiness. And that is the two roots. The material universes, as we know from first Canto and Shastra and Guru, they are manifest, and then they become unmanifest after a long time. This universe is about 50 years old, they say. Lord Brahma, he lives for 100 celestial years. We're in the midway point, according to Bhagavatam. So when this Lord Brahma leaves his material body and goes to the spiritual world, he's a pure devotee in this universe, then the material elements, earth, water, fire, they all amalgamate back into the causal ocean during the resting period of Mahavishnu. Then they become manifest again. So those living entities that have not developed Swarup or Vastu Siddhi, they go back into the body of Krishna, the Mahavishnu. And they come out again when the material universes, they come out again in the glance. The glance of Mahavishnu contains the Kala Shakti, time, the conditioned living entity, their karma, everything. And it impregnates the material energy. And under the supersoul of Krishna, under the supervision of Krishna, the material universe is again. But those that have developed Brahma-yoga, who've spent their time developing their sadhana, their realization of Krishna, they go to the spiritual world. They can go, we don't have to wait till the end of this universe, we're halfway, but they can go anytime according to grace of Guru and Krishna. So that is called Vastu Siddhi. So here it is explained in the purport. It's a bit long, but I'll just read a few paragraphs. Please pay attention. Listen carefully. As we have discussed several times, there are two types of living entities. Most of them are ever liberated. So most living entities of the unlimited are in the spiritual world. They're unlimited. While some, they're called nitya muktas, while some of them are ever conditioned. So they're constantly conditioned. They're in the material world trying to enjoy. The ever conditioned souls are apt to develop a mentality of lording it over the material nature. Ishwaropi. Everyone wants to be in charge. Everyone wants to be the big lion in charge of the pride. Everyone wants to be the leader, the boss, the controller, the Ravana. So everyone has that propensity. Ishvaro, I'm controller, and then I'm the enjoyer of what I'm controlling. The lion is controlling the pride, and then he is enjoying the lionesses in the pride. So, and therefore the material cosmic creation is manifested to give the ever-conditioned souls two kinds of facility. So here's the purpose of the material creation. One facility is that the conditioned soul can act according to his tendency to lord it over the cosmic manifestation and enjoy. Most of the conditioned soul, and the other facility gives the conditioned soul a chance to come back to Godhead. So this is the purpose of the material creation. Okay, you don't want to serve Krishna, you're Tatastha Shakti, you choose to go to the material energy, go there. Try and control and enjoy the secondary material energy. Oh, you don't like it? Okay. Especially on Bhumandala, here, Bharatvash, after Lord Chaitanya, the Shastra is here, the teachings of the Acharya, the Maha Mantra is here. You practice that and you get the facility to practice Brahma-yoga and you get eternal life. So this is two facilities. You can enjoy either in 8,400,000 species of life, or categories of life, not species in the material sense, or you can go back to Godhead. But the choice is yours. We came here by choice, we go by choice. So, I thought then, why not? So this is very simple understanding. We always talk about Siddhanta, but actually Krishna consciousness, the Vedic Siddhanta is very, very simple. The material world is for those who want to enjoy or they want to go back to Godhead. The spiritual world is for those that live eternally in their swarup, their relationship to Krishna. What more is there to be known? And so this is all described in the Puranas. So, it says here, Nirod. So, the Puranas are the storybook of the Vedas. They tell historical stories that give philosophical insight. So, I looked up, what makes a Purana? There are 5 characteristics, they're called Pancha Lakshana, of a Purana. One is Sarga, cosmogony. That means how the material world is created. So every Purana does have cosmogony, how this material world is created. Then the second is Pratisarga. First is Sarga, Pratis, and that is cosmology, how the universe is laid out. What is the structure of the planetary systems, the light, the earth, the water, fire. So you have the process of creation, and then you have the creation itself. They're the first 2 of the Pancha Lakshana. Then number 4, Manvantara. In the Purana, there should be the history of the Manus, or one Manu, the progress of humankind. And that is to illustrate how mankind should behave. And then number 5, Vamsa Anucharitam. Accounts, that's Vamsa. Accounts of royal dynasties, particularly the Shaurya Vamsa, Ramchandra appeared, and the Chandra Vamsa. So they're the 5 Pancha Lakshanas. But then the superior Puranas, for instance the Bhagavad, they also have 5 additional items. And the Bhagavad Purana is the embellishment of these. Number 6, or number 1 in the extra 5, Uttaya. that is stories, just like we have in the Bhagavatam, that explain karmic links between the living entities, between the deities, between the rishis, between the kshatriyas and the jivas. Just like we have the stories of Ravana, Kumbhakarna, Lord Ram, and then they became, previously they were Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, and this happened, and these living entities, and Prahlad said this and this. So these stories of these, it's called Uttaya, they illustrate in a practical sense to the living entity how the laws of karma work. And then the second one is Ishanu Katha, tales about devas, demigods, or incarnations. Just like in the Bhagavatam, you have the Matsya and Vamana and Ramchandra and Krishna Balaram, and you have Kalki. So these stories, they form the same purpose. You see, Bhagavatam is Gita is very philosophical because it's the basic pramana, but the Bhagavatam is full of stories about Dhruva Maharaj, Jadbharat, Prahlad Maharaj, and these stories, they inspire us and teach us about the law of karma, the law of bhakti, and how to develop our bhakti. So that is called Ishanu Katha. And then number 3, which is mentioned here, which made me look it up, Nirodha. That means the finale, the winding up of the creation. The first one is Sarga, how the creation is manifest. So in the superior Puranas, there is always talk about Nirodha. What happens, how the universes, the material universes, which are temporarily manifest, and how they are wound up. That is Nirodha, which is mentioned here. Muktir in the first, right? Nirodho swanushyayam, right? Nirod. When the universe is wound up, the finale, some living entities go into susupti within Mahavishnu, some living entities qualified, they go to spiritual world. That is Nirodha. And then number 4 of the 5 is called Mukti or Moksha. That is the description of spiritual liberation. Just like in this verse, the first 2 lines, Nirod, what happens to the living entities who are not qualified for the spiritual world? They go to the body of Mahavishnu with their conditioned living entities, and they enter susupti unto the next manifestation. But the mukti, the condition of mukti. So the Vedanta Sutra has 4 khandas, Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan, and then mukshi, mukti khanda. It is the 4th khanda, 4th section, and it describes the state of liberation, how the soul is when it's liberated. So that is the 4th of the 5. And then, most importantly, and this is in the Bhagavat and in the Sattvic Puranas that teach about Vishnu. You see, some of the other Puranas, they may teach about Devi or Lord Shiva or Kali and so on and so forth. So those forms of Krishna and Krishna's Shakti, they are not ashraya in that sense. Like you can worship Kali, you can worship some devata, you can worship these Shaktis, but they are not ashraya. In the sense, ashraya means, it's a Sanskrit word of course, you know, it means the ultimate refuge, right? Because ultimately the Vedas are monotheistic. The ultimate refuge is Krishna. He has his devatas in the material world, he has his companions in the spiritual world. But Krishna is the ultimate ashraya. So that is the 5 topics. So I'll just go through them again. in a superior Vishnu Purana, Sarga, the manifestation of the material world. Second, how the material energy is constructed, the different 14 worlds. 4, Manvantaras, description of the Manvantaras, giving the laws for mankind, Manu Samhita. Then there is, number 3, Vamsa, the genealogy. There's the manifestation of the cosmology, and then who is living within it? The Devas, Dhruvaloka, this and that, all these things are described. Then Manvantara, and then number 5 is the Surya Vanks and the Chandra Vanks predominantly. Their incarnations, they are Vishnu incarnates through them. And then the last 5, Uttaya, the karmic links, the stories, how karma works. Ushana Katha, tales about incarnations and devatas. Nirodha, the finale, the finishing of everything. Mukti, what is the condition of mukti? And then number 5, most importantly, these are all woven together in the Puranas, but the Ashraya is the Supreme Lord. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha. And that is most important because the Shastra teaches us the ultimate Ashraya, and when we study the ultimate Ashraya, then naturally bhakti awakens and we become liberated. What is that verse? Iti matva bhajanti mam buddha bhava samanvita. Once you understand that everything, the creation is coming from Krishna, janmadi ashyata, then if you understand that nicely, you become liberated because you perform bhakti. And Lord Chaitanya has appeared to give us the best idea for bhakti, or one of the most powerful practices in Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, be encouraged in your Brahma-yoga. Any questions? Yes, we've got 4 minutes. Look at that, I'm finishing on time. Yes.
You said about from Vishnu, Kala, Shakti appears.
From Mahavishnu. That's the glance.
But
that is Lord Shiva.
the glance is also called Sadashiva. So they are the same.
You know, you go to a Shiva temple, what do you see? You see the lingam and the yoni, right? The lingam is Lord Shiva, and the yoni is Durga Devi. So, we know the absolute truth has 2 aspects, Purusha and Prakriti. And that is throughout the creation. There's the lion and the lioness. You know, there is the male and female throughout. So, Durga Devi is the female. The yoni is the material energy, and you can say the Mahatattva in the original state. And the yoni is the lingam, Lord Shiva. So that agitates the yoni. Lord Shiva, the time factor, agitates the material, not agitates, but yes, agitates, activates the material energy, and through the progress of time, the cosmology, the cosmogony progresses. So, that Kala Shakti is, Krishna says in the Gita, Kalosmi Aham. You know, right? You know that, everyone knows. The hymn is, I am time. Krishna is everything, Vasudeva Savamiti. So this time factor comes from Krishna, but it is manifested through Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu does not directly contact the material energy. He empowers the devatas and he expands as Lord Shiva, Shiram Yatada Dibikari Visesha Yogat, and in that expansion, the Kala Shakti interacts with the material energy. So the Kala Shakti is only manifest in the material world. In the spiritual world, time is conspicuous by its absence. People are existing in the spiritual world. There are pastimes and activities and emotions and interactions, but there is no time factor. The material energy is controlled by the time factor. For example, to do something, to give this class, I need time. To wash my teeth, I need time. To write a letter, I need time. To cook my dinner, everything is dependent on time. So the time factor is the representation of the absolute in the material energy. Try to understand. Absolute means completely independent. Time factor is independent of everything, but is controlling everything. Everything is rather dependent upon the time factor. So Krishna is the time factor, and it is manifesting from the glance of Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is not touching the Mahatattva, which is the basic starting point, the womb of the material nature. It is the glance of Mahavishnu. And then within the womb of material nature, all the living entities, all the cosmic situation is created under the supervision of Paramatma. But he is not touching it, he is empowering the devatas. We've talked about this for 2-3 weeks. He doesn't do anything. He's like the Prime Minister sitting in his office, but he empowers the Defense Secretary. You look after the defense. You're the Financial Secretary. You're empowered to look after the finances of the country. But he himself is not doing it. So Vishnu does not touch the material energy, but he empowers the devatas to do it. And he does not touch the material energy in the sense that he manifests Lord Shiva as the Kala Shakti. And Kala Shakti as the lingam interacts with the yoni, which represents the material energy. Does this clear up your question? So that's how the material world works. Vishnu is in charge, but he's not touching it. But he's manifesting the elements, everything, and he is giving the capacity of the Kala Shakti to Lord Shiva. So he winds it up. When the time is finished, nirod, the time factor withdraws, everything which is now the Pancha Mahabhuta, the Jnanindriyas, the Kamindriyas, they all dissolve back into the Pradhan. But the glance of Lord Vishnu contains, Mahavishnu. It contains, it's described in the Shastra, you can read it in the Brahma Samhita, the details. It contains the conditioned living entities that are not liberated. They still want to enjoy the material world. It contains, that glance also of Mahavishnu, contains each living entity's individual karma. It is accompanying the jiva. And it is containing the 3 modes of material nature: activity, balance, and inertia, which interacts with the material energy, who is manifest in personified form as Durga Devi. Durga ultimately is Shakti Tattva, is coming from Durga is also a name of Radharani in the spiritual world, Durga. Durga is manifesting in this material world and manifesting the material element. So there's the interaction. Here's Durga Devi, you can think of it, the Kala Shakti, the conditioned living entity, their karma, their desires, and the results of their previous activities. And the super soul enters into the material energy and supervises the whole show, if you like, you can put it that way. He is the ultimate controller. He's empowering this person, doing this, giving the results of this karma. Oh, you want to become a devotee? Here, meet this devotee. Oh, you want to learn to chant Hare Krishna? Go to see Srila Prabhupada and chant Hare Krishna. You want to know Siddhanta? Look, walk along this bookshop, buy it there. Oh, you want to be a bank robber? Then do this. He's fulfilling the desires. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko yoda dadati kaman. There is one supreme conscious living entity who is supervising and fulfilling everyone's desire in a detached way. But he is ashraya. So the devotee who has got special knowledge, this is the greatest knowledge. He knows Krishna's a person, the ashraya. So let me just mam namaskaru, right? Manmada, put my mind on in Brahma-yoga, in a devotional way. I perform all my activities as yagya and mam namaskaru. Krishna says those four things. This is the great secret, Arjuna. The fourth one is very, very important. Because what does it mean? Krishna wants you to mam namaskaru. No, Krishna is saying, look, approach me in a humble, gentle manner, serve my devotees, and then I'll fall in love with you. I will help you. You will gain my mercy in that way. You understand? So that is a very secret thing. Krishna is inclined to the gentle and humble. He doesn't like Ravana. Pride comes before a fall. He doesn't like rough people. He is patita pavana hetu, tava avatar. Krishna is inclined to those that are gentle. There's the story in the Mahaprakash Leela of Mahavishnu, when Lord Mahaprakash Leela is Lord Chaitanya, he sat on a throne and he manifested all his incarnations and gave benedictions to Murari Gupta, to this, all the devotees. He showed that actually I am the Godhead. So at the end he came to Advaitacharya. He was the leader of the Navadvip Vaishnavas. And he said, Advaita, now I want to give you a benediction. Because Lord likes to give benediction to his gentle devotees. He wants. It's just like if you love your children, you want to buy them a new bicycle. You want to give them something, right? So Lord Chaitanya gave benediction. So then Advaitacharya said, no, I don't need anything, Lord Chaitanya. I don't need. I prayed for you by offering Ganga Jal and Tulsi, so that you would come and spread Krishna consciousness. So I'm satisfied. So Lord Chaitanya said, no, I want to give you a benediction. You must help me. Let me give a benediction, I want. So then Advaita, okay, then there's one benediction I ask, one blessing I ask. He said that your mercy is unlimited, but give your mercy especially to those that are akinchana, nishkinchana, who are humble and gentle. But those who are proud because of bodily beauty, because of so-called high birth, because of so-called high education, so high position in the material world. We see this. Those that think that I am something special, don't give your mercy so easily to them. Give your mercy to the gentle, the humble. So that's the benediction of Advaitacharya. He's Mahavishnu in Chaitanya Leela. So this is something to remember. No matter how big position we have and how many rubber stamps and how many people vote for us in this way or that way, but samaham savabhut, I'm equal to all. But the devotee who is soft and gentle and kind and compassionate, Lord Chaitanya takes that person as his own. Even Jagai Madai, right? They were fighting with Lord Nityananda. But when they prayed, when they became humble, then they got the mercy, you see. So we have to mam namaskaru, because just like with ourselves, if we meet somebody and the person says, you know who I am? I'm the big man round here. Then immediately we think, right, isn't it? Who's this nitwit? We don't become attracted. But if somebody is gentle and considerate and shy and modest, kind-hearted, we become attracted to that person, right? So this is sadachar. We should practice that. Humility, kindness, generosity. You understand? Lord Shankaracharya said, devotee should do 3 things every day. 1, he should chant at least one name of Govinda. 2, he should at least read one line of Shastra. And 3, he should perform charity, some form of charity every day. So, that is the nature of Krishna. Krishna, all his qualities are unlimited. So his humility is unlimited. So therefore, if you're a big atheist and you want to make false arguments about how God doesn't exist, Krishna will give you intelligence. Okay, you want to prove I don't exist? Use this argument, use this argument. He will facilitate out of his humility. Krishna is a person. So his happiness, his humility, his generosity, his opulence, they're all unlimited. So mam namaskaru means that you go to Krishna and say, look, Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram, I'm your humble servant, but I've fallen in the material world. You pick me up. You pick me up. And place me not as a big man, as an atom of dust on your lotus feet. Lord Brahma, we talked about it. Lord Brahma, what did he, after the Brahma Vimohan Leela, he prayed, oh Gopal, in next life, may I become the grass, so that the gopis, when they're walking in Vrindavan, they'll walk on me and I'll get the dust from their lotus feet. So the sahajiya, or the person who's not a good philosopher, not educated properly, he may think, I'll meditate, and by my meditation I will enter the spiritual world like a conquering army. No. You must go to Krishna very humble and gentle, because that's his nature. That's his nature. And if he sees that you're kind and generous to the dog in the street, giving a biscuit, that is a spirit soul, kind and generous and forgiving. If you practice that, then Krishna will teach you everything within the heart. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So thank you all very much. It doesn't really matter about where the Bhagavatam class is, the Gita class. Once we have nice sadhus listening, and we have the words of Srila Prabhupada and the great acharyas, then it doesn't matter, right? So please come next Friday. And in between then and now, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you all very much. Please forgive all my offenses.